America. You see my face right now? That's how I feel on a daily basis when I hear people talk about Donald Trump. Now, I don't mean to offend no one, but I just don't get it. How can you vote for a candidate like that? You know, he don't like Muslims, Mexicans. No, you don't care too much for black people. Now, when in terms of his policies, he really just don't have many. You know, one of the most important things to me this election would be, police reform. And, Donald Trump's policy on police reform is search and, stop and frisk is what it's called. Excuse me. So you mean to tell me in order to fix the police or in order to have some type of reform for the police, what you're going to tell them to do is stop and frisk people? I don't think that's smart. I think that's going to make the issues way worse than what they are right now. Hillary Clinton may not be a favorable, likable, most honest person. However, at least she has policies that I can agree with. Like police reform. Like I said, that's the most important to me this election. And she has a 17-point PowerPoint on her website detailing exactly what she's going to do with police reform. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, the Clintons are racist and Bill Clinton was racist and he made all these policies about, the war on drugs and she said super predator. That argument is dead to me because if you pay attention to what's going on in the election, she has already admitted that she didn't have understanding of the middle class minorities because she didn't live in that era. She didn't live in, you know, where she could, possibly understand them. But after, you know, taking you know, close observation, she's able to find a middle ground and try to understand what the issues are, in the minority communities. And she's doing something to address those issues. Now, another important issue in this election would be, I guess, immigration. Immigration for Donald Trump is his policy is what is to basically ban Muslims. Muslims can't come into the country. The hell with the Syrian refugees. Um, kick the Mexicans out. Um, build a wall. Those are his policies. So, um, I don't know if you guys know this about migrants or immigrants, but they pretty much make a lot of money for the states because they won't actually the ones that are illegal. Actually, let me be clarify. The ones that are actually illegal actually make money for the federal government because they're not receiving money in their social security. So it's actually creating a pool of money for those who are actually legal citizens. Now, I'm not saying that's a necessarily good thing to have a whole bunch of legal people in the country. However, it's not that big of an issue that people are making it, trying to make it seem like, oh, they're taking our jobs. And no, you just don't want to work. You just don't want to do the jobs they're going to do. You're not willing to do the same job they're going to do for $5 an hour or $8 an hour. You're not willing to do it because you're a spoiled American. That's all it is. And Hillary, she said she wants to have open borders. People say that and think that it's just open border, meaning that, oh, anybody can come into the country. Read the policy before you just take a line or a snippet from something and make it something that is not. And I feel like both campaigns do that. Hillary Clinton's campaign does it, and Donald Trump's campaign does it. The difference is the voters are not going to each candidate's website and actually seeing their policies. Now, with Donald Trump, he doesn't have many policies. That's what scares me about him. He scares me because what he says becomes his policies, literally. But Hillary Clinton says things, and then she has other things on her website that detail exactly what she's going to do. I can agree more with, you actually having a formulated, detailed plan. I can't agree with, my next door crazy neighbor said the illegals got to get out of here, so that's what we should do. Yay! No, I can't get with that. Just think about this: 62% of Donald Trump supporters didn't go to college. Not saying that they're stupid, but they just didn't go to college. That's over half. Now you got a lot of people with the idea that Donald Trump thinks like them. Donald Trump says what I'm thinking. But the point of the government is to step in when we fail as humanity to pretty much steer us in the right way to what we should be. Our country is supposed to be this free, humane country that lets you practice whatever religion you want to, and lets you have freedom of speech, and allows any person of color, no matter your race or whatever, to have the same rights as anyone else in this country. But in this election, making America great again is a slogan, and it scares me because it's basically going to take our country 60 years back. And that's exactly what is going on. People are afraid of things they don't know. And people try to make themselves seem smart by making up conspiracy theories. I don't get it. What we should first realize is that we're human first, and humanity matters. Which brings me to another point. I don't understand pro-lifers, man. I don't get it. Hey, if you don't like abortion, that's a personal belief. That I feel like that ties in with, Christianity, because a lot of people that support it, they try to back their ideology behind religion. And last time I checked, church and state were separate. This is last time I checked. So I don't think that's a good valid reason to back that up. But if we're going to do away with abortion, we should also do away with condoms, napkins, women's throats, and let's see here, dirty socks. I'm just saying. Um, I get it. If you're Republican, your values are, you're pro-life. I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect that. You pretty much, you're conservative. You want to give tax breaks to the, most wealthy in the country. Maybe they might create jobs with the big corporations they own. Maybe they won't. Maybe they just get rich. Who knows? If you're a Republican and those are your values, okay, cool, by all means. But when you start stepping away from our democracy, that is scary. In many countries around the world right now, they have the same issue that we have going on in America. Europe, let's see, Italy, France, all of these places are going through the same thing with the Syrian refugees, and all these big groups, these anti-Syrian refugee groups are forming, and nationalists are forming, and they're basically becoming, just blatantly racist and saying, "Hey, I don't want you in my country," basically. Which I can understand to a certain extent, But I feel like we're creating more of an issue by being less accepting. If we're more open and accept these people, then I feel like they would feel welcome, and they won't have to necessarily feel a certain type of way about being in our country, and start to hate us and create another issue. I think that's what it essentially is. What it's doing. All of this hate is creating more hate. And what I mean by that is, by us hating them and not accepting them, they're going to in turn hate us. You know, so I mean, they have nowhere to go. I agree with how it got started, how this whole Syrian refugee, Iran, Baghdad war. I agree with how it started. Yeah, it was the administration on some bad decisions, you know, arming the population of people, and then them becoming ISIS and pushing people out of the country. But you got to realize what has happened to the country in its entirety. Now we're at this point, and there's nothing we can do about it now. We're here now. Hey, we're here. What can we do? Um, Now at this point, you got to put yourself in their shoes and have some empathy and think about it this way. To Americans, let's just say that the states have a civil war, and we're divided, and there's no place safe to go. Everybody's dropping bombs on each other. Everybody's shooting and killing each other. There's no safe haven. But a place like Canada says, hey, you know what? Let's create a safe haven for some of these people, the population that want to get out of there, that don't want to fight. Those people that don't want to fight, they don't want to be in the middle of this anarchy. So they say, hey, come to Canada. We give you citizenship, help you out, give you a house, help you get a job and all that good stuff. That's what you would expect them to do, because that's the humane thing to do. But that's just how I feel about it. Write your nasty comments below. Hit the unlike button or hit the like button if you agree. My name's Rashad, and I'm signing out. That's just my spiel. These are just my opinions. If you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. Y'all have a good day.